Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So you can probably tell from the thumbnail, but today we will be diving into the new Mikayla X Glamlite's eyeshadow palette. So everybody knows this palette has been everywhere, not only on TikTok, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I've been this excited for a palette in a long time. Honestly, since the Jacqueline and Morphe collaborations a while ago, I don't think there has been a better curation of nudes and colorful shadows in one palette. This many shadows at this price point in a long time since those palettes. So even when this palette was revealed, I kind of was like, okay, yeah, I'm getting this. And I haven't bought an eyeshadow palette in a long time. So I have already dived into this palette. I did a colorful look for a comedy TikTok that I posted recently, so you can check that out. But today I wanted to dive into the neutrals because I am just like a neutral whore and I love them. I love everything about them. And I love these golden tones in this palette. So I want to dive in and just use more shadows. And I don't think we really, on YouTube here or just on social media in general, we all buy new makeup and I feel like we try it once and then it's like thrown out or just sits and it's on to the next. I don't want to do that. I want to do a lot of looks with this palette, and if you guys want me to do a lot of looks, let me know in the comments down below. But without any further ado, guys, let's dive into this Mikayla X Glamlite palette and see if she is really worth the hype. Alright guys, nothing new here. I went ahead and filled my brows with a little bit of my e.l.f. brow pencil and did concealer on my lid, set with a little bit of translucent powder. I always like to do that before shadow because I think having a layer of that translucent powder makes your shadows blend out a little bit easier. And now we're gonna dive into the palette. So let me show you the palette here. This is what it looks like. I think the packaging is absolutely to die for. These glitter flecks in here are just like amazing and so unique. I've just never seen anything with the double layer like this, that you can have those loose glitter flakes. I think it's just like so cute, really heavy duty packaging. The mirror in here is just to die for. Look at this. I mean, and then look at the color story of this palette, you guys. I just think nothing I've bought in a very long time has such a beautiful mixture of these nudes, neutrals, and colorful just tones. And as you can see, I kind of dipped into a couple already, like I told you, so pardon the finger swatches. But now I actually want to insert some swatches for you just so you can see everything in just really nice lighting, so you can get an understanding of how all these colors look on the tone of my skin. And there is 30 eyeshadows in this palette, so we have a lot of swatches to do, so let's dive in here. So now starting with the top row, we have going from left to right, Harley, How You Doing, Gemini, What's Poppin', Hot Cocoa, and Willow. The next row down is Glow Up, Simba, Ascent, Buffalo Chicken, Manifest, and Cookie. The third row down is Iconic, Simping, Immaculate, MJ, New Beige, and Nas. I believe that's how it's pronounced. The fourth row down, and I apologize if I butcher these shade names, guys. I obviously don't have the same accent as Mikayla, but the first one is The Best Color, Bonehead, Stunnin', Portuguese, Part 2, and Rhodey? Again, sorry. The last row down is Audrey, Freetown, Loop, Handy, Frisky, and Masshole. So I hope those swatches gave you a better understanding of the true tones in this palette swatched on my skin tone. And now we're gonna dive into our eye look here. The first color we're gonna dive in with is Gemini on a Morphe M433 brush. I love this brush. It's just so pinched and detailed and really allows you to pack a color in the crease, tap off the excess, which there is a little bit of fallout, but nothing too crazy. And now we're just gonna start packing this in our transition shade in circular motions. I think going back and forth with circular motions like this instead of just back and forth, I think it just gives you a little bit more of a softer blend in the crease when you're going to blend it out and diffuse it. on the brow bone. And why I always start with my eyes is it really lets me go past the eye shape here and just drag it down as much as I want, and then I can go in with a makeup wipe and clean her up and not have to worry about being too neat or messing up my complexion. So that was our first layer. I just dipped back into the second just to intensify it a little bit more. And now that most of the product is off of my brush, I'm just gonna do circular motions a little bit higher than the crease just to diffuse this color and really get a beautiful gradient effect past the crease onto the brow bone. All right guys, now that that is blended out in both of the creases, I'm gonna go in with What's Poppin' first, which is a little bit more of a true gold tone, and then I actually wanna layer Glow Up on top of it. So What's Poppin' is definitely more of a true gold, and Glow Up has a little bit more of a gold pink shift to it, and it's funny, I don't really want one over the other. I want both of them. So what we're gonna do first is take What's Poppin' just on my finger here, and we're gonna press this into the lid. I mean, yes. And now with my blending brush that I blended out Gemini with, I'm putting no more product on the brush. I'm just running this through the inner creases just to kind of diffuse any of that gold that got a little bit too high when we were pressing it on with our fingers, just so everything looks nice and coherent and it doesn't look messy going too high on the eyelid here. And now I'm gonna dip into Glow Up, which is that second shade, and we're gonna press this on top of that first gold. Okay, yes, that is definitely what I wanted. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but I just think Glow Up has a little bit more vibrancy and like glitter to it, and I just think it gives you that kind of look I was going for. It's a little bit more toppery in the sense that it doesn't have the solid coverage that What's Poppin' does, but I wanted the gold tone underneath with the punch of Glow Up, if that makes sense. So same thing, I'm just gonna take the brush we blended Gemini out with and just run it back through our crease to get rid of any gold that went a little bit too high. Okay, now we're gonna deep up our outer corners with Hot Cocoa on this much more defined Morphe brush. It's much more pinched and just a little bit better for detail work. So we're gonna dip into Hot Cocoa and use this to deepen up our outer corners. So we're gonna start on the lash line here. Okay guys, our outer corners are deepened up here. I'm deciding whether I want to add a little bit more depth to the lash line with Willow. I think I'm gonna do it. We're gonna dip into Willow on that same really pinched Morphe brush, but I really want to keep this down low next to the lash line. And even though Willow has a little bit more of like a purple base to it, I think adding it on top of these browns kind of brings out the brown in it, so it's not gonna look too purple, but I just really want like the maximum dimension going on here in our outer corners. So you guys can see the two differences in the eye. Just look at the difference with the depth you're gonna get from adding Willow. It's just gonna give more of that cat eye and lift, opposed to leaving it here. But if you wanna do something a little bit more natural, maybe just stop at Hot Cocoa. But I am definitely loving that we added Willow just to give a little bit more of that depth and smokiness. Alrighty guys, everything is blended out. Now I think we're going to just take a makeup wipe and clean up our edges here. This is another huge reason I just love starting with the eyes, because you can really use a makeup wipe to clean up here. And now that we cleaned up that eyeshadow with a makeup wipe, I'm just gonna go in with my tried and true. This is the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. Pop on some lashes in my current favorite cut. They are from City Color Cosmetics in the cut Steph. They just have the most beautiful flare to them. So I'm gonna do that off camera. And honestly, I'm going to just zoom through my complexion because I want the focus of this video to be the eyeshadow to show you guys what everything looks like when my complexion is done. So I'm gonna finish my complexion. I'll list everything I use down below in the description box, and I will be right back when the makeup is almost finished. And bam, y'all, we are back with our complexion done. Everything is beat. If you guys want to know how I did my complexion, make sure to check out my next video. It is going to be like a bronze goddess kind of a look, and I detail everything I have in my complexion and how I did today's look to finish everything off. But let's jump back into the focus of the video, which is the Mikayla Glamlite Palette. I did finish up my under eyes after I put up my complexion on, and all I did was smoke a little bit of Gemini more liberally out underneath, and then I packed on a little bit of hot cocoa, I would say about halfway along the lower lash line, and then I did the littlest bit of Widow, just really tucked on the lash line to give a little bit more definition. Bottom mascara, and that was it for the lash look. But I've had the eyeshadow on now for almost, oh my god, I don't even know, maybe 3.5 hours, I want to say, and everything is holding up so beautifully. None of the glitter is falling out, which I was nervous about because it is a little bit more of a loose glitter, and none of the matte shades are fading, and everything blended like an absolute dream. So did the color ones. Even when I did the purple look, it was just such a breeze and effortless kind of shadow to blend out. So overall for me, guys, my final thoughts on the Mikayla Glamlite palette is this thing is completely worth the hype. If you want to treat yourself to a palette that has beautiful neutrals in it, but also gives you such amazing options for color if you do want to branch into it, or you are a colorful gal or guy already, this really is the way to go. And I can't recommend this palette enough. I'm happy that it's the first palette I've bought in a long time. Mikayla, congratulations. This thing is phenomenal. You really hit it out of the park with this, and I wish you all the luck, as well as Glamlites in the future, and you really have a beautiful, beautiful palette on your hands. That is it for today's video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed doing this eye look as much as I did. If you want to see any other looks specifically from this palette, make sure to comment down below, and I will do any look you guys want me to. I love filming these little eyeshadow tutorials for you here on YouTube. Make sure to follow me over on TikTok and Instagram as well, where I am much, much more active and just try to communicate with you guys and answer as much questions as I can. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel. If you are subscribed, make sure to hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified every single time I post. Wherever you are, I hope you are happy, healthy, and safe. I will see you guys on the next video. I love you. Mwah.